Hey guys, welcome to the channel. This is my 1977 Ford Pinto cruising wagon that I installed a Ford Mustang 2.3 liter EFI engine from a 93 Mustang. I installed that, I modified the fuel tank to take a Hyperfuel EFI fuel pump, and I just finished wiring it up. I've had this engine running on starting fluid for just a few seconds. My goal today is to maybe make this thing run for more than just a few seconds. So one of the things you got to know is you need to run 14 gauge wire to power your Hyperfuel in-tank fuel pump. I had 16 gauge, I had to change out to this 14 gauge. Luckily I had an old wiring harness laying around that I was able to scavenge this wire from. So right now I've got it just wired to here, and if you listen, okay, I don't want to run that anymore without fuel in there. My next plan is to put some fuel in the tank, because I have never tested the tank since I'd used the KBS tank sealer in it and completely restored the tank. Because if you don't know, fuel tanks for, yeah, my Pinto only has stripes on one side. Fuel tanks for Pinto cruising wagons are like unobtainium. You cannot find them, and most of them are rusted out. So I tried to weld it up, and I was just having a hard time with all the pinholes and thin metal. KBS sealer seems to have sealed it really well. Probably hard to see, but this is that's KBS tank sealer on the outside. It's really just extra. I didn't really have to put that on there, but I just used it up. If you can see right there, that is the Hyperfuel fuel pump, and also the Holley Easy Sender is right there to the right. So I'm going to fill this thing with fuel, and we're gonna see if there's any leaks. I've got about 3 gallons in here. This is a pretty exciting moment for me to put fuel in the vehicle. And here we go. We are pouring fuel in. And you can see on this side there was evidence of the vinyl stripes. These Pintos didn't have painted stripes, it was actually stickers. It was vinyl decals. And you can see the evidence of one going right here. They did a really crappy job when they painted this thing gold. It was supposed to be this ugly orange color. Alright, let's pause for a second. Any glaringly obvious leaks? Not a drop. Not a drop. And if you got a sharp eye, you probably noticed that I have the Pinto on furniture moving dollies. I know it sounds crazy, but these things have like 1,000-pound capacity. So the front, because there's an engine up there, I put some extra pieces of plywood to kind of stiffen everything up. The rear, I just dropped the tires right on them, and they didn't flex at all. It's kind of hard to move if the wheels are all aimed in different directions, but once the casters are aimed in the direction you want to go, it'll go easy. I have the supply line. I actually ran into this little part of the handle there that's holding it down, and we're gonna see if there's any fuel that comes out. Yeah, now this is a crazy thing. I've got this engine in here with the factory Pinto harness as well, because it powers all the lights and random other stuff. So I will, once this thing's reliably running on the Mustang harness, I'll start to thin out the Pinto harness. So just because I didn't want to cut out anything and make a mistake, I left them both in there. So do me a favor and watch this for fuel. This should sound different now that there's liquid in it. So I'm the switch. It sounds different for sure. It's a good... Whoa, that's a lot of fuel. It's a good idea to do that anyways, because we are cleaning out the tubes, the lines. I got some stainless steel braided fuel lines. I got them in black because I don't want to show them off. And I use that Amazon brand Evil Energy fittings, and they worked really good. Now, another thing I need to check is for leaks at the fuel filter. This was my #1 concern, and we do have a leak at the fuel filter. That's exactly what I thought was going to happen. It just looks like it's at the connection, though. I wonder if I can tighten that up. Look how loose that is. See, my concern was going to leak between this big bulkhead fitting or whatever and the filter, because the O-ring was like terrible connection in there. Excuse me, park brake. I can't believe I never tightened that. If that's the only leak, that's great. Okay. Hey, it's tight. Let's watch that as I run the fuel pump some more. No leaks, that was just a loose fitting. Now I think a Mustang 2.3 requires like 35 PSI or something like that. This definitely is flowing way more than the factory pump was. Happy to see that there's very little debris there, and it's very clean fuel. So that's cool. Now, I will check tomorrow for leaks under the car from the gas tank or from the fuel filter. But for right now, what we need to do is where the factory fuel lines were, on the bottom side of that fuel row, which you can't really see, it's right there. There's two fittings going down, a return and a supply. So here's my supply, and here's my return. I gotta get them on there, but I know there's still some little bit of plastic hose left. I can kind of see where it goes right down there, and it's gonna be really hard to get to. So I'm gonna do that off camera, and I'll catch up to you whenever we are pretty much ready to prime the fuel rail. This first time running the fuel pump with resistance, with the fuel lines hooked up, so I'm gonna make sure they don't leak. I guess I'm gonna go ahead and see if it'll start without the fuel pump hooked up. We now have fuel pressure, but it's probably gonna dissipate immediately. So you ready, son? See if it starts?
Yes.
It's been a long time coming, right?
Please.
Can you do me a favor? Oh. Kind of have to have a computer hooked up.
Oh, you probably do.
Yeah, that might help. Man, I was like upset there for a second. Like, I should have at least coughed, you know? That had me really worried. So I was gonna mount this on the inside of the body somewhere, but couldn't really find a spot to send the wiring harness through the firewall. So let's temporarily just ground this out and try again.
Does this have a cost?
It's got a manifold that goes to like a downpipe, I think. I think I hooked up a downpipe. Nope, it's just open exhaust right there. Those are humongous. See how tiny ones? Thank you, son. Go to Junior.
Will that do much?
Yeah, perfect. We're just kind of making a ground for the computer. Temporary ground. Let's give it a little fuel again. You know what? I didn't check for leaks under the car. I don't see any leaking. I thought for sure that filter would leak. Alright, so let's take two, right?
So it doesn't leak?
So far, so good. Get ready. If everything's done right, it should start this time. Okay? Nope. I mean, there could be 100 things wrong. You want to do that? You want to hold it there? Go ahead, and as soon as you start doing it, I'm going to turn the key, okay? Give me a chance to get in the seat. Alright, whenever you're ready.
3, 2, 1. It sounds like a race car too.
Holy crap, it just needs to see fuel pressure. It just needs to see fuel pressure and it'll run.
Yes!
Oh, give me 5, yeah. Wow. Now I need to hook up a switch or something so I can control that. Whoa, it runs on its own. Woo! Holy crap, son.
It sounds like a race car too.
Yeah, with open exhaust, sounds like it needs to be on the circle track. Wow, I'm so happy. Fuel pump on. Wait a second.
It's spitting out stuff.
What kind of stuff? Is it just exhaust stuff?
I
I don't see any liquid.
Stuff.
I don't know why it runs so weird and brappy.
It smokes too.
Yeah, it's okay. It's that's where the exhaust is. I forgot. Let's hook up this this intake. That was strange sounding, but hey, I don't know. We're gonna find out. We should probably hook up this stuff so it starts to read a air fuel mixture. You know what I mean? Because right now it's not reading anything. Are you ready?
Yeah, and the exhaust is right there.
Let's go.
We're gonna get all the smoke. There's smoke.
turned off the pump, and I turned off the key.
Wow. It's struggling.
It's struggling. It needs help, but it runs. Well, I'll figure out what's going
Oh
on.
my
Is
god.
it timing probably or something?
Don't know. All right, so I've been diagnosing this thing for a while, trying to figure out why it runs like crap, why it's running on 2 cylinders. Think I got it figured out. What I did, I got it to run, and then I undid this front ignition module, and it seems to run a lot better. So let's try this out. Fuel pump on. Key off. What do you think, son? What do you think?
Yes.
Awesome, huh? Well, we still got some issues. So notice that idle, it runs really weird surges, you know. I don't understand. I thought the front, sounds funny. I think it's returning fuel. Sam's popping fireworks, killing snails and stuff.
Having fun.
Yeah, he was cleaning vacuum filters. It worked really good. All right, so I unplugged this completely, like no power to this spark. And it runs better. I don't get it. Like completely do away with the front coil. And these plugs go to the intake side. Isn't that the ones you want? No, maybe not. And these plugs go to the exhaust side. I think that's right. So with those plugged in only, it's running better. Sounds great
weird.
when you rev it up, but
It sounds the same, but it's got more cylinders firing.
yeah. I probably just have some weird wiring issue that I got to figure out how to power these properly. I think that's all it is. It actually sounded awesome, right? So what I did is instead of letting the ignition get its signal from like the computer or the car, I just have a manual switch. So I'm powering on the ignition and the fuel pump myself. Fuel. Ignition, it's gonna be loud.
It runs!
That is revving way too high.
Yeah, it's too high. It'll figure it out, or I'll figure it out.
Yes!
Freaking awesome. Transmission dipstick, I think, is loose, so it's puking. Anyway, so there it is. It runs like freaking awesome now.
Yeah.
It just can't regulate its idle, so I got to figure out idle air control or
So you can't drive
throttle
it yet.
position. No, it needs exhaust. It needs drive shaft.
Oh yeah, I guess you need that thing.
Yeah, that. So I need some of that. Yeah. Also needs a drive shaft. Here, I think I have a list right
I
here.
see a muffler
Here's a
right
list
there.
of things that I need to install or do. So we're getting closer. Actually,
Anybody
next,
want to buy a Toyota Corolla or a 1965
Toyota
C10?
Corolla for sale, and C10 for sale. Like, what do we want? 10 grand?
10 grand.
Yeah.
Corolla.
And Corolla, 4 grand. I don't know. They're worth a fortune now. On to the little. I'm moving on to the little stuff. Just leave the bee alone. I'm gonna move on to the little stuff, and I guess I'll catch back up to you later. Good morning. This is Mechanic Monday, and what did we learn today?
Welding.
Welding. I'm gonna teach Sam how to weld. So last video we posted on Texas Hillbilly Channel was Sam learned how to drive standard, and you were what, 10 years old? I think you weren't even 11 yet, right?
Yeah.
When we recorded it. And now, so he's just barely 11 years old, and he's gonna learn how to MIG weld. We're gonna tack up the exhaust. We're gonna pull it out, and Sam's gonna finish weld it. So lost a bunch of footage. Mostly, I mean, my GoPro was kind of going wacko, but also operator error. I kind of deleted a bunch of stuff on accident. So the footage I lost was pulling out the drive shaft, which is the drive shaft here, I changed the rear U-joint, and it's one that'll adapt from the Mustang drive shaft to the Pinto rear end.
How do you find that?
It's actually easier than I thought. I think it's the correct Pinto U-joint for a V6 car. Actually fits a Mustang drive shaft. So I'm going to swap out the front U-joint, because might as well while it's out, because it would suck to have to change that once I get it in. So also, I don't know if I think I deleted a bunch of footage of the radiator. I got this Speedway Motors. It's like an LS swap radiator installed. It's 24 inches wide by like 19 tall, cross flow. Not sure how many rows it is. I got the fan. It's gonna have to be a pusher. There's just not really enough room between these pulleys and the radiator to be a puller. So it's gonna push air through rather than pull air through. Pulling's more effective, but it's just gonna have to deal with pushing. I'm sure the factory radiator, even on a V6 Pinto, was probably smaller than this. I think you saw footage of this thing running. Pretty sure I didn't delete that. And it revs way too high, or idles way too high. So I gotta find, there's gotta be a vacuum leak, or there's an issue with the throttle position sensor. So still gotta hunt that down, but I can't really diagnose it without it getting hot. So I had to focus on cooling system. We got a factory Mustang radiator mounts holding in the top, the bottom. I don't know if you can see it. It's just a piece of angle iron down there.
Imagine if you actually deleted the footage of the Pinto running.
I know, that would be terrible. We'd have to like fake it and you'd be like, yay, you did it, Dad, for the first time.
Like, yay.
Yeah, no kidding.
Done.
That would suck. All right, underneath, just show you where we're at here. So we got to get the drive shaft in and the exhaust. I believe all I have is just a little pipe coming off the collector. Oh, hey. It's not much to show down here, but except for you, watch your head on that pipe. I don't know if I want to adapt Mustang exhaust to this old Pinto exhaust. I mean, this does fit the back half of the car, so maybe I'll just use it.
Yeah.
I didn't show, or I did show, but I deleted footage of getting this radiator out of my 53 Willys. This actually came from a autocross car that I used to race.
Wait, Swift, right?
Yes, it came from the Swift, which is where that stuff comes from. The sticker, giant sticker right behind you. Suzuki Racing Development. Anyways, so I pulled that out and it will not work at all in the Pinto. So that's why I ordered the new Speedway Motors radiator. And I think this is gonna work out better anyways. It looks awesome too. Once we get the grill in, it'll mostly hide all that.
Right up stink bugs.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we lost footage of our shop was invaded by stink bugs, and there's still some randomly, like right there. Right, where is it? There's one there. There's one there. But there were like, I had footage of like 40 of them in that window. And everywhere you went,
Yeah,
they would climb on you.
Like climbing.
Yeah, I see them.
There's one climbing on that beam up there.
Yep, they're
Two.
everywhere. But it was worse than this. Like, look, there's a bunch of dead ones down there on the ground. I don't know what's up with this. Like, stink bug migration time or something?
I've never seen those stink bugs before.
I've never seen them. We've been here like almost 9 years, and I've never seen a stink bug infestation.
Much different than stink bugs that I've seen.
They are different. I just sucked up probably 40 or 50 of them in a vacuum cleaner. Anyways, we're also busy working on the tiny home. I got some parts for that up there. So right now I have it to there. This is like the original transmission had it running right there. See that flare's open. I mean, it's not the greatest flowing exhaust, but you know, whatever. All right, this is what I came up with. Ugly joints, mismatched size pipes, bends that are unnecessary. I'll probably end up chopping that off and welding that on there because that should fit the factory exhaust. I don't know. So let me clean up all these joints. Then I'm gonna get Sam out here and he's gonna learn to weld for the first time ever. darkening. As soon as I start welding, it's going to darken, okay? Watch this. You ready?
Whoa.
See that?
Yeah.
You able to see it all? Now you see how I was moving that puddle around? Don't be afraid of it. You're going to go at a little angle like that where you can see, and you're going to go zzz. Try to go from here to there and stop, okay? Go ahead and try it. Don't worry if you mess up. Go ahead. I want you to hold this. I'm going to weld with your hand. You hold it tight. Ready? But do you see how much you don't move fast. And you don't move far. You could sometimes people will just set this here and they'll set it on the nozzle and they'll just rock it back and forth. Go for it, bud, you got it. There you go. Alright? Don't worry, look. Hey, your first half was great. Second half was good, but you missed the gap. Okay? So let's start at this weld right here and let's work our way down. Okay? It's okay. Hey, what's the practice for? You want to keep going? Alright. Kind of just see that one. Go for it. Alright, so you're traveling, see how it's really fast. It won't penetrate if you move super fast. You're putting that on top. So if you want to feel the hole, try to slow down a little bit, okay? See that hole right there? Do that. Go ahead. Let's set it like that. Go like this. I got you moving. That's barely okay. Yeah. Barely. Yeah. Perfect. Stop. Perfect. That was excellent. Over there. We did it right here. Final hole. So your first time welding was excellent, son. I'm proud of you. This is his first. First welds are pretty ugly. Learning how to do it. It was a big gap though.
I think the
second welds, freaking gorgeous. It is so good, son. This is awesome. For your first time welding, and pipe is hard to weld. Pieces of like flat plate steel, easy to weld together. You started on the hardest. So good job.
Let me see what's awesome.
Sam's first welds are right in front of my face.
These right here?
Don't touch. Jeez, girl.
Those?
Yeah. Here's Sam's second welds.
Whoa, second looks way better.
Look at that roll of dimes there.
I don't know what you're saying.
Looks like a,
They
roll,
look more
looks
like
like a roll of
nickels.
dimes or a roll of nickels laid down on the side. But look at this perfect, consistent welds. And then over here's the third. Now these are hard to do. The first one and the last one were hard to do. Okay, that's the factory exhaust from the Pinto hooked up to the Mustang exhaust. And it fits perfectly. Sorry, I'm a little shaky. Holding my arms above my head for a while. But exhaust is done. We can scratch it off the list. I got the thermostat housing off. It's in pretty bad shape. It's corroded through right here. You can see light shining through it. So I think I'm going to use it because they're not in stock and I want to start this thing soon. Did get a new thermostat. Hopefully it's the right one. I got a gasket. I got 35114T. I just cleaned it up and I put some RTV on the outside of the outlet area and just put the hose on, and so I got a new thermostat in there, and on to the next. All right, it's been a couple days. I got the drive shaft in, we got the exhaust in, I got antifreeze in, I just need a radiator cap. Got the battery in, I got the shifter in. Now here's an issue with the shifter. The factory Ford Pinto shifter, it actually connects to the Mustang shift linkage, but the shift linkage is like, it's literally like an inch too short. It's got a big slotted section for adjustment and whatnot, but it's still too short. So my option is to drill new holes and just move the shifter forward a little bit, but I already cut my carpet out, and if I do move it forward, there's going to be a gap where you see the body metal rather than carpet, because the little cover that goes over the shifter is really small. So I don't want to do that. I think what I'm going to have to do is pull the shift linkage out, cut it, add an inch, and put it back in, which is not a big deal. Right now, I do have, you know, park, reverse, neutral, drive, and maybe second. It's like one off, you know? So I can test drive this thing once I get it running. I don't have the fan installed yet. There's really nowhere to put brackets, and I think I'm just going to get those little zip pin thingies. I got to get those somewhere. I need a lug for the starter cable. I cut this short. It was a super long cable because I think it was on the opposite side of the battery's on the opposite side of the Mustang. So I hook that up, hook this ground up. I need to run a key on power supply from like the ignition switch area to my switch panel. And then once I flip the switches, I should have fuel and ignition. I think it's a lot simpler than it is. I'm just overthinking it and getting overwhelmed, you know? So one of my concerns is whenever I ran this thing the other day for a few minutes, it dripped some oil at the rear main seal area, which worries me because the C10's got a rear main seal leak. And you know what that means. You gotta pull the transmission out or pull the engine out, right? Well, getting under there looking up between what would be between the flywheel and the transmission, looking at the back of the oil pan, I can tell that the oil pan gasket is like not properly in on the edge. And I don't know if you watched the video where I put this oil pan on, the Kevco Racing oil pan, and the gasket that they said to use, I had trouble with that back section. It kept falling in, I'd tighten it and I'd realize it's fell in, I'd have to loosen it, pull it back out. I have a fear that once I get this thing running, it's going to be leaking so much oil that it's going to smoke, just like the C10. Now, I don't want that. That's the whole point in putting this engine, is I want something that doesn't smoke. I want something that doesn't make you smell like fuel or oil when you get out of it. You know, something that starts super easy and runs and it's just, you know, maintenance free. So I fear that I'm going to have to pull this engine and transmission at least up, get underneath it, pull the oil pan down, try to get that thing in the right position and put it back on. Also missing a few bolts. I had to get some shorties. I was able to get like 4 of them in, but there's still like 3 bolt holes that don't have bolts in them. Also, the power steering is not hooked up. I need a short hose made. That's pretty much it. I got to hook up the park brake, but I might go ahead and put this thing down on the ground because we're that close to driving it. In fact, I think we're probably going to go to the store and get a ground lug because I don't have any. once I get a ground lug squeezed onto that wire, and then the signal, the 12-volt power supply, then we're ready to start this thing. Okay, I got the ground lug hooked up finally. I got the airbox in here, wired in. I need to mount it. I got to figure out a way to mount it. The only thing I don't know is I know I have a vacuum leak and I don't know where it is, and it's causing the RPM to be super high. Or I have a throttle position sensor issue. Shifter's mostly done. I really got to do change that to linkage. Equipment wiring's done. I got a radiator cap. Leaks, that's going to be an issue probably. Sway bar, I got to modify the bracket. I had to take the sway bar off for the oil pan to fit. Hazard relay, I just noticed it's missing, that's all. The training dipstick, I don't think is in all the way. I'll figure that out.
It feels so much shorter now that it doesn't have those like wheel stands.
Yeah, it feels super low working in it too. So we're going to try to start it. New exhaust. It was running good, remember? It just was idling way too high. So it's probably going to idle high, but it should be quiet. I hope it's really quiet, don't you? Okay, ready? Fuel pump, electronics. Oh, no starter.
Yay, it started.
All right, well, what did I do wrong? I had to add a push button start because in my rewiring,
Somebody wired it up pretty bad.
Yeah, somebody wired up bad. I don't know what I did. In undoing the factory ignition supply and making my own switches, somehow I killed the signal to the starter. So now I have my own manual push button start. It's kind of ugly, but whatever. Still have to use the key to start this thing. So here we go. Attempt number 2. Pump, ignition, start. I don't know.
It was all smoking.
I think there's just oil all over the exhaust and it's just burning off. So I could be having transmission fluid kind of spitting out on the exhaust right now, or that's residual. I'm not sure, but I know it's not electrical, it's not wire. The whole exhaust is kind of oily and smoking. I need to do a catch can because it was starting to piss out coolant. And then we can, you think we should try putting it in park and whatnot? I mean, drive. Here goes nothing. Pump, electronics, start. Nothing. 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 I don't know what's up with that, so okay. All right, so I tried running it through reverse and drive and all that, and it didn't even move. It did nothing, so something wrong. Here's our second attempt. I don't think this is going to work, but we're going to try. So when I put it in reverse and revved it, it slowly, like barely moved back. I don't know, you can probably see that. You can probably see it on camera. barely moved, but it's dumping transmission fluid at the dipstick, which makes me think that it's full enough, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's just splashing out. So I need to get this thing back up on jack stands and see what's up with that leak. Make sure the dipstick's in all the way, and then check the fluid level. It could just be so low that it won't do anything. It started to cycle water, I believe. Starting to feel some pressure here. So I wanted to get all the air out of the system. It kind of still sounds like, it has a misfire. It kind of sounds like crap. I don't know what to think of that. Now, we're holding at 11.5 volts, so I don't know. It should be like 14, right? So I don't know about the regulator. Sherman, you all right, buddy? He's super anxious. Super duper anxious. It's okay, bud. Don't worry. Let's see. Otherwise still revving too high. I don't know what to do about that. What was that for? It just revved up. Why? Doing it again. All on its own. It's pouring out fluid now. Why does it do that? Why doesn't it rev down? Check the side of the radiator, the tank.
211.
Okay, now go over here and laser over onto the exhaust manifold.
432.
It was 700 when it was running. Think about it. It's like thousands of explosions happening right behind that thing.
Yeah.
Pretty cool, huh? So all we got is transmission fluid here. There's no engine oil, so that means I might not have to pull the oil pan out of this thing. All this coolant hopefully is just from it overflowing without the reservoir on.
So transmission fluid is blood, pretty much.
Yeah, it's blood for the transmission.
Yeah.
Yeah, it certainly ain't running better. Hey Sherm, what do you think, buddy?
Did you pee on my pillow?
What do you think, buddy?
Whenever you revved it up, it would leak like more.
It was puking out more. I mean, at least that means the pumps and the transmission is working. I almost ended the video right there, but I went ahead and did a little bit more work on this thing. You know how I said it was leaking transmission fluid underneath and I thought the dipstick was loose? Turns out I never installed the transcooler because I went with an aftermarket radiator. The factory Mustang radiator has an integrated transcooler. So had I put that in, maybe I would have remembered, but I completely forgot. So I found the lines, I ran the lines up to the front, and I just looped them for now until I can get an aftermarket cooler. And I added a gallon of transmission fluid. Once I did that, I went ahead and ran it and put it in reverse and drive, and it eventually started going. So right here in the garage, I was actually moving it. Let me show you that clip right here. It's a vertical clip. I screwed up recording it, but here we are. The Pinto is moving for the first time under its own power with a modern power plant. How cool is this? The next thing you should see is us driving this thing in the yard. But we can't do that today because the weather sucks, it's already dark, and we just got back from the vet. If you're wondering where Sherman and the kids are, Sherman just got neutered. So they're inside taking care of him. I'm out here cooking steaks. And next day that we get that's really good weather and everybody's feeling good, we will take this thing out in the yard and do some donuts. Here's Sherman after his surgery. He's got a little bit of cone-free time while we watch him, make sure he doesn't chew. It's been about 4 days since the surgery. He no longer cries when he jumps, so he's doing good. Right, Sherman? Good boy. Now, I got to show you something. I've been busy working, and you're going to like it. All right, so I removed the EGR valve completely because I got to run my heater hoses. The EGR pipe was right in the way of where my heater hoses need to go. So got rid of those. I already made a block-off plate for there, but I have to weld up the exhaust down there. That's going to be a pain. But what I really want to show you is this. cool, right?
Matrix War!
I can see you recording me.
Yeah, I'm recording Sherman.
Yeah.
I'm not recording you.
Mm-hmm. So satisfying.
Isn't it? Got the door handle to do. Man, this looks rad.
Oh, it's just around.
Look at this. It looks so cool. Isn't that so cool?
It's so 80s.
Yeah.
You need some bell bottoms.
Heck yeah, I do.
You need bell bottoms and like long hair.
I need to paint that black
You need
and
to
that
start-
orange.
Like talking like far out, dude. Or man. Far out, man.
Yeah.
Like right on. You need a Hawaiian shirt. You need to wear a Hawaiian
Definitely.
Shirt. You'd be like the
Sam
big,
fits this car
you'd
right
be
now.
like the Big Lebowski and just be like, I don't know, man.
Is that what he says? He sounds like Nate Bargatze.
I thought you were gonna say Joe Biden. I was like, oh.
What is it?
What is this?
Yeah, there's runs. I'm not a professional painter, but neither was the previous painter. So I was gonna do like, you know, orange on the bottom, maybe some red there and some black there, but
So much work.
it's a lot of work. So I'm happy with how this came out. You right there?
Would they go on the hatch? Like,
The stripes?
Yeah.
I don't think so. Like the Squires, the Country Squire ones, they had wood paneling here that went right here, like an oval and wood in the middle.
that'd be cool.
Big trim, and they had the big spoiler, which I want to get that diffuser spoiler, and roof racks.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want a roof rack or not, but I definitely want that little spoiler.
If you got the spoiler, you don't need a roof rack.
Well, the ones that had roof racks had spoilers. Don't open that. I don't want rust to fall on the wet paint or semi-wet paint. We need a hatch bad, though. This thing is terrible. All right, here we are the next morning, and you can see my runs now that the sun is shining the way. It makes shadows. So, I mean, runs everywhere. Really don't care that much. I do have some overspray where the plastic ripped. I'll clean that up with like some mineral spirits or something. Here and here, you know. There. It's not that bad. In fact, the biggest hole I saw was here, and that's the worst of it. I'm gonna put a stripe like right here. I think this is where it should have said Ford. I have like ORD. I'm missing one of the letters. But if I could find all the letters, I might, you know, go on the backside and pop out the Bondo and put those back in. This side I've got a run here, a run there. You know, there's a run here. It's even a little thin right there. Now, where I peeled the tape off here, it pulled all the paint off. So I bought some pinstriping. It's $10 from AutoZone. 1/4 inch by 40 foot. Now, honestly, I don't know if 40 foot's enough. So I'm just gonna start pinstriping and see how this goes. I hope I'm good at this. right, this is as far as I got. So that's 40 feet. We'll run you out there. I got about a foot left. Man, look at that reflection. Anyways, I sure hope this holds up to the Texas sun and doesn't mess up, come off. I screwed up right there. Cut that a little small, but that's an easy piece to replace. See that little fiber right there? Can't get it out. And if you rub your finger on it, you end up causing like a wave and it'll pull up over here. So you gotta do this. And even still, you gotta make sure you don't wrinkle it. I'm in here working on the dashboard, the gauge cluster, making this where it's gonna go inside the dash right there. I decided that if I'm gonna put that pretty looking gauge cluster right there and, you know, a radio and my new painted console there, this looks ugly. So why don't I just strip this, remove the pad. I'm gonna paint the pad black. I've got a carpet to cover it that's on the roof. I'm gonna dye that black because I like black here because it doesn't reflect on the windshield. But while I'm doing it, let me strip this dash and paint it that orange, you know, so it kind of flows, you know. Yeah, I gotta paint that too. Sure, that's not gonna be painted. I'm probably not gonna paint up here even though it's rusty because that's gonna be covered with a carpet pad, but this will be visible, you know. I thought I'd show you a little bit of the progress. I went ahead and prepped and painted the top of the dash satin black. And I'll paint the dash pad black to cover all that. It's in bad shape. I'm actually gonna use a grinder to clean up all those grooves. All right, I repainted the dash pad. It didn't come out perfect, but I actually took a grinder to get all these lumps out of it. And I'm gonna put carpet over that anyways, but I painted the dashboard because I was gonna put in the gauge cluster, which you can see here.
We also plugged in all that.
Yeah, that's the kind of the start panel. Yeah. I'm gonna install a push button somewhere around here. For now, I just have this button, this horn button sitting there.
What is this one doing again?
That's a voltmeter. And if you pull these covers off, it's got chargers.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I hooked up the shifter. I actually cut the linkage. I don't know if I recorded that, cutting and adding the material into the linkage.
So now does it like, if it's in park?
Yeah. It's all the way it's supposed to be. It's all cool. Perfect. Yep. And so, hey, Lily.
We also did stripes. Well, we already showed you the stripes, but we got vinyl on it, black vinyl. The pinstriping? Mm-hmm. Yep. So it's pinstriped now. How cool is this? And I added a little detail to the back because the ones that had 3 stripes, they actually they had 3 stripes going right here, and one of them was there. All right, so we got this thing actually running, and I think last I showed you the transmission wasn't really acting right, so we added transmission fluid, and now it's shifting. Now it actually pulls forward and backwards. I think I did show you some of that, but I added a lot more fluid. I added a trans cooler right here in front of the radiator. I got the radiator fan in, and it's actually being powered, I think, through the computer. I'm not positive, or maybe it just comes on all the time. Anyways, let's go ahead and start this thing up and back it out of the garage for the first time under its own power. And that way we can get a good look at the stripes, and this thing will drive itself into the sunlight for the first time in 15 years, something like that. Mm-hmm. When was it last registered? 2010. I'm not sure exactly the month, but 2010. I think it was 03, right? 2010? Yeah. But it's hard to imagine somebody drove this thing in 2010. We found the owner, though. Yeah, we did find the owner. So that's their insurance card from... I can't find a date on it unless that 83 means 1983. Yeah. Texas Motorplex Pit General. Yeah, NHRA Winston Drag Racing Pit Pass. I don't know what year this was. I looked it up. I think there was some in like the 87 or so, and there's some in the 90s as well. Yeah. There's a lot of TNP automotive machine shop things. Yep. And there's including their charge card. An old card and... Yep. So I believe they worked at TNP Automotive Machine in San Antonio. Yeah, we looked up a traffic citation, and for, what was it? It was like unrestrained child restraint. Yeah, something like that. And the last name, we can read like the first 3 letters. And I looked up the owner of this place, and it is the same name. So this is the owner of TNP Auto Machine in San Antonio, which is still in business today, 40 years running. I think took this Pinto cruising wagon to those NHRA drag races whenever this was. How awesome is that? And here is our last registered, Bexar County, 03, 2010.
Ready, start.
Right away.
This rev's way too high. I gotta figure that out. So if I put it in gear, it's gonna choke the tires. Ready? A little violent.
Why does it do that?
Because it's revved way too high.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome.
Now it looks like we don't have a alternator. It's low voltage. Running out of voltage there.
Sad.
Sad, yeah. So first time in the sunlight with the new paint.
If you were in the 70s, what car would you own?
Oh, probably a muscle car. Probably something like my GS. Oh, Lily, you are really doing that, aren't you?
Don't get that all over the seats whenever we get in.
Huh?
You just put your foot down.
Where?
That's how we stop.
What? You're missing an e-brake. No, really. Where is your e-brake?
It's not installed yet. Died.
Oh, why?
Are you really starting it like that?
Yeah.
Okay, show the world where you're starting.
Already showed up. Start, but don't push it.
Oh my goodness.
Fell on its face for a second. You see that?
Sounds like
Brakes are garbage.
Oh.
It randomly just dies.
Wow.
Got great oil pressure. We got good temp. See, it won't idle down. So I have to just do this and it spins. I have no power steering. I have no power brakes.
Smell
It's rough.
little smoke there.
Did it die?
Yeah.
What is going on with it?
It won't idle down. Just,
Sherman looks unsure.
I bet he does. All right, let's go.
We just finished growing our grass from the Corolla, and now we're destroying it
Not
again.
doing nothing yet.
Yeah, right.
No
Yeah.
burnouts.
Ah!
Until now.
Jared! Jared!
That's nothing. All right, let's go on the road for the first time ever. It'll probably
How
die.
about no?
I don't know why it's
How about
dying.
no?
But
How about we don't do that? That's not a good idea. Hello, neighbors.
bask in this. This is for you.
We can't ever leave into a nice neighborhood because our
Should I go
redneck
down?
tendencies are
guys-
Yeah, go down, go down, go down.
All right, we're doing it.
poor.
Yeehaw.
Brakes are pretty bad. Oh, I smell them.
I don't think. Oh, I'm smelling too.
What's that?
That's brakes.
Oh, baby.
It's okay.
Ew.
It's okay. It'll go. Just an odor. No power steering sucks. Everybody wants it.
Y'all are delusional.
No, we're not.
Yeah, right. Nobody wants this.
Full throttle. It's a dog. Yeah, we're moving. Don't know how fast, but we're moving. 60 psi, 175 water temp. This is wonderful. The stocks are so bad, it's like a lower under.
Honey, you look great in it, by the way.
Really?
Yeah. It's actually very fitting to your personality.
I'll do it this.
How do I know that's not neutral?
You're gonna find out sooner or later.
Oh my gosh, I don't like this feeling.
Come on.
It's like it's out of control.
Don't go far.
Okay, it's in drive. How do you steer this thing? Oh my gosh. Babe, I'm not gonna clear it.
Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on.
I do not like this
Hannah,
feeling of
you look
being
great in
out
there.
of control.
You look like you fit.
No, I don't.
You totally do.
No.
Yes, you do. Yeah. Yeah.
I stepped on the brakes like an hour ago.
Only the front brakes are working and they're just locking up. The rear brakes aren't, so it's kind of dangerous right now.
Yeah.
So, do you want to let Sam drive?
If I'm struggling, he's gonna struggle.
Do you want to drive it? Come on.
Jared, it's hard. If I struggle, I don't see how Sam's gonna do it.
Hey, be positive.
Lily, we need to get out of the way.
Hey, you ready for this?
Yes.
All right, how's the vitals? Our temp's a little high, but it's really not that high. It's like 190.
Yeah.
Climbing a little bit. So let's go ahead and start moving. All right, brake.
So the brakes, it only takes that much to go all the way with the brakes?
Yeah, our brakes aren't working right. So we're not gonna go fast. So go ahead and shift it into drive. All right, you got it, bud. It's hard to turn because there's no power steering, but if you're rolling, you can do it. See? Good job. Good job, son. Little gas, yeah. Straighten up. Start straightening up. Start straightening up, quick. Stay right. Stay right. Go towards that fence, yeah.
Doing great.
Go ahead and go onto the street and do the cul-de-sac. Was it fun, son?
Yes.
Was it fun, hon?
Great.
Didn't
Oh
he do
my
good?
gosh, I was worried he was gonna struggle because it was like.
You always worry,
easy.
and it's always
I'm a
easy.
mom.
It looks like a sleeper, even though it's the
All right,
opposite.
now this is really hard to turn, okay? There's no power steering, so...
I mean, it looks good. It's a work in
Keep doing
progress.
it, Daddy. It looks good.
Yeah. The inside's a work in progress. All right, Lily. Woo! You go, girl.
There you go. Yes, now start straightening back up. Straighten that one. Good.
Sam, what about the front? Is he gonna put like a grill guard there? Or, I mean, not a grill guard. I don't know what it's called. A grill. Because it looks all like buck teeth and... Yeah. So is he gonna get one? It just looks like it's missing teeth. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh, she's doing a great job, yeah? Oh my gosh. I get nervous.
Now you turn the key off and watch those lights.
All right, Lou.
Good job.
What do you think?
You all did so good.
First impressions.
You love it? Oh, come on. Come on. That was awesome. We successfully
Don't
drove.
break my thumb. Ow.
We successfully drove like 30 miles an hour. The brakes hadn't been used in over 15 years, so when I push on the brakes, you can smell it.
Smelled
bad.
awful.
It needs new brakes. I probably need to go through it. Needs shocks. It bounces all over the place. I don't know why it died a few times. It has something to do with probably that high idle issue. Yeah, I think it needs an alternator because it was at like 10.9 volts, 11 volts, and it never went up. It only kind of stabilized. But
it looks cool. There's no
right.
handles. So
Positivity.
You need a headliner. You need a lot of stuff. You need an e-brake and...
But how's it feel to drive in the Pinto after we've had it for a year now?
It's fine.
It's cool, right? Does it look better in there than when we first got it?
Yeah. It looks good.
What do you guys think? What do you think, Lily?
Never sell it.
Yeah, I don't want to sell it. What do you think, baby? Did you like it?
Yeah.
You guys ready to do like a 1,500 mile road trip in this thing?
No. No.
Heck yeah.
No.
Hot rod power tour.
Dangerous.
Sleeping in the back.
No way.
Totally down to do
Me and
that.
Daddy
Oh
will
my
go
gosh.
To, like, Marble Falls again.
Well, I'm gonna wrap you in bubble wrap.
I want to come.
I'm gonna wrap you completely in bubble wrap.
We could do a tent
It's
camp.
scary.
All right, so thanks for watching this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked it, please give it a like and subscribe for future content on the Pinto and other projects. Also check out our Instagram, Texas Hillbilly J, and
Pinto Mustang Horse.